Today's episode is about the world of Kundalini. However, it is actually about me saying goodbye to Kundalini. As a first disclaimer, everything that I'm saying in today's episode is really about my own observation, it's about my own opinion, and it has absolutely nothing to do with, it's no kind of attack towards anyone specifically who works with Kundalini in one way or another. It's really about how I have experienced it, how I see it, what I see going on in the world, and how it relates to my work, and also how I want to bring my work forward in future. So please, whatever I'm saying here, don't take it personally. It's not meant like that. It's really about me and my story and my work. Okay, so let me start with my story with Kundalini. So I first got in touch with Kundalini around 4 years ago when I was still living in Barcelona, and it was a very unique experience. I was part of a Kundalini activation session, and it did have a very deep impact on my life. And however, it didn't stop there. It didn't stop with the Kundalini activation session. It triggered a first spark. It triggered the belief that there's something more, way, way, way deeper to explore in this whole world of energy, vibration, and frequency. And so my journey continued, and I did a few of these sessions, and it created such a deep calling inside of me that I really felt like I want to bring this work out myself. And I happened to then apply for one of the biggest institutions that I know that offer Kundalini activation trainings. And I got accepted there, but at the same time, my teacher back then, Heidi, came along my way, and she started offering her trainings as well. And she used to be a Kundalini activation facilitator. And something in me said, go with Heidi, even though I never even had a single session with her. So I went to the training with her. I rejected my acceptance in the other school. And after the very first session I already had with her, I felt, whoa, okay, this is something more. This is something more free. There was something opening in her sessions and in this training within me that I didn't know from any of my previous experiences. And then my next step led me to my other teacher, Ivan. And when I went to him and to his events and I experienced his work for the first time, another thing opened up. And it was the most freeing thing I've ever experienced in my life. And it felt like that another huge door was opened for me that I could enter. And I decided to be trained by him as well. And this is basically how my work got influenced. My work got influenced by these two very fundamental, influential teachers. And interestingly, both of them do not bring out the work of or with Kundalini as you would find it nowadays in our modern world, in the sense of how most people, when they say they offer Kundalini activations, work. So it's there's a fundamental difference between working with the energy directly, or working with the field, with the universal field, if you like to call it like that, or with the consciousness. So it's another level actually. And I, from my side, just really didn't know for a long time what to call this work, because words are limiting and also limited. And at the same time, they're very powerful. And because my whole journey actually started with Kundalini, I still felt very drawn to it. And that's why I decided I will call my work Kundalini Awakening. And that worked for a while. For the past 2 years, that worked. However, more and more, I realized that is not it. It is not the work that I'm doing, and without saying one thing is better or worse, it is simply not the same way. If I compare it to other Kundalini activation facilities, it's just not the same way. And Kundalini, the word, is very powerful. Words are, in the end, things that we call into existence, and we can shape and energetically charge words. And the way how it is currently being charged in our world, from what I see in the scene, let's call it like that, in the Kundalini scene, there are a lot of things that truly clash with my values, and especially with one core belief that I have, and one fundamental principle that I want to bring out with my work, which is, we really do not need anything from the outside. We do not need an outside energy. We do not need a transmission from someone or through someone. What we need is to go within and work on ourselves. And the more we work on ourselves, the more we come into alignment with ourselves, the more our simple being can already influence and help others to align with themselves as well. There's nothing more needed. It's very simple but powerful. We don't need any kind of doing. We don't need to channel crazy energies and transmit energies and move energies around in someone else's energy system and all these kind of things. I'm not saying it's bad. I think when energy work is being done intentionally, in a conscious way, where people really know what they're doing, it definitely has also its beauty and its place in this world, and it can be a beautiful and very healing experience for someone. However, what I currently observe in the Kundalini scene is that there's a lot of manipulation going on in regards to people working on other people's energy field, not really knowing what they're doing. And I'm saying this not because I feel I am able to judge, because who am I to judge? But I'm saying this because of experiences that are being brought to me. Of people who come to me and say they had this and this experience and a session with this and this person, and they really felt totally lost after the session. They felt overwhelmed, and they felt it was some kind of energetic rape, as bad as this sounds. So I'm basing my observations not only on what I see with my eyes, but also on what on the experiences that are being brought to me. And I think as someone who works in that field, it's important to speak up, and it's important to bring some awareness, because I think what is lacking in this world are some guidelines. This world of energy, frequency, and vibration is so new, and it's so amazing, and it's so wonderful. But at the same time, because it's so new, and we are kind of just making baby steps into this world, I believe we are missing some guidelines, some principles. And with guidelines, I don't mean strict rules. I don't mean limitations. I mean guidelines, orientation. If you look at practices like Reiki, it has very strict guidelines. Some people might say, yeah, it's old-fashioned, and yeah, it's limiting you and it's putting you into a box. But at the same time, I believe there's a reason why the Reiki teachers and practitioners and the masters of Reiki decided to create these strict guidelines, because they were aware that working with energies might seem subtle, but it's not. It's very powerful. It's a very, very powerful tool. And if you don't know what you're doing, you can also harm someone. And I don't mean that, I don't say that people intentionally harm someone, that they are bad, but I'm talking about awareness. I'm talking about there's a missing awareness on how powerful this tool of energy work and consciousness work can be. And for me, there's a certain responsibility missing. And yeah, and basically, long story short, I believe we are missing certain guidelines, and you know, and because we don't have them, it's on the one hand side very beautiful that people, you know, they can just experience, and there are so many trainings out there where people can learn and where they can then go out and do this work themselves. But again, it is very powerful. It's a powerful tool, and power always comes with responsibility. And that's what I currently see missing a lot, especially in the Kundalini bubble, in the Kundalini scene. And the way how the word Kundalini is currently being charged and how it is being brought out does not resonate with my values, because one of my core values is also responsibility, and it just does not go hand in hand anymore. And it is really clashes with my core belief of we don't need anything from the outside. We don't need a facilitator who channels and transmits energy. We don't need someone who influences our energy system, especially if they don't really know what they're doing. We need to work on ourselves. That's the main thing. We need to stop, go within, and work on ourselves. And yeah, and so this is one part. It's really that missing responsibility. It's really that the way how this word is currently being charged, it doesn't resonate with me. And the second part is what I explained at the beginning of the episode today, which is that it's actually also not really what I'm doing. It's Kundalini activation, and the way how you would find it when you Google it or when you look on Instagram, wherever, is not the way how I ever learned it. It's something I experienced on myself, but it's not how I learned to work. It's not what I am doing in my sessions, and it's also not what I'm teaching. So it's time for me to say goodbye to this word for so many reasons, and with some gratitude, because it was a big part on my own journey, but also with the responsibility to share this with you, not to just change it and say, I don't care about Kundalini, bye. but really to share with you what I'm observing, because I do think it's important, and I do feel the responsibility in this scene to speak up and to say what I'm observing. So my last advice for you, and I would like to give you, is when you find someone, when you are interested in this Kundalini activation, in Kundalini transmissions, and you find a facilitator who offers that, I would advise you to look for three things. The first thing would be, how does this person bring the work out? Is it in an empowering way, or is it in a codependent way? What I mean with that is, an empowering way is, for example, someone who says, come to me, I do whatever I do, however they explain it, but then go out and practice, keep practicing. Or is it a codependent way, which is, come to me, I do whatever you do, and then keep coming to me, because I am the one who does that to you, because I am the one who channels this energy and gives it to you. And there's actually nothing you can do when you're home, or when you're on your own. This creates codependency. This creates a power structure. This creates, I am here, you are there, you have to come to me. And I'm again saying this because this happened to me. This happened to me, and one of my facilitators where I went to, I heard exactly that, because I was asking, what can I do at home? And she said nothing. And it's simply not true, and it really created that hierarchical thinking, that power imbalance, in the sense of, she's the one and I am just someone who comes to her sessions and who should keep coming to session. So first thing, how does the person bring out the work? Empowering, or is there some kind of codependency? Second thing is, look for, if it's not written anywhere, ask the person where he or she learned. Again, I am a strong believer that we all carry all abilities, and that it's super important that we do our own thing, and that we listen to our own intuition, and that we become the creators that we truly are. At the same time, I also believe it's important to honor our roots, and especially in this area of energy work, when we go to trainings, when we get taught by someone, it is very seldom, it's very rarely that what we do is because we received some cognitive knowledge. It has a lot to do with the subtle things that we received from our teachers, being in their presence, receiving this kind of not spoken words, but receiving their teachings on a way more subtle level, because at the end, this is what the work is about, right? It's about the subtle levels, about energies, about consciousness, about frequencies, about vibration. So who did this person learn from? What's the lineage? What's the energetic lineage? Because we do get, if we want it or not, we do get influenced by our teachers, and especially in this work, it is so important to see where does it go back to, and see, then maybe also look up the teachers and see how do they bring out the work, and what do they stand for, and really just look at the whole family, let's call it that way, the spiritual family that stands behind the work. And then the third thing is very simple, listen to your intuition. Speak to the facilitator first, see how you feel about him or her, what comes up within you. Do you feel safe, first and foremost? Do you feel safe in their presence? When you look through their Instagram or through their website, do you feel a calling? Do you really feel, this is a person where I feel like I can let go and where I feel safe? So this would be my 3 tips when you decide to actually, whenever you decide to do this kind of subtle energy work, in whatever area, if it's Kundalini activation or energy healing or whatever, check these 3 things out. And yeah, and then if it all resonates, just try. So yeah, this is a bit my story with Kundalini, my goodbye to Kundalini. I will record another episode where I talk a little bit more about what I am actually doing, because also that was a journey for me to understand what it is that I am really doing or not doing. Actually, it took me a while. It was, yeah, with this work, it's very interesting because it's so new. It's often through practice comes actually the mental understanding. So it's really like as if our soul knows first, and then by practicing, our mind starts understanding as well. So I will record another episode where I give a bit more insight into what it actually is that my work is about. But for now, thanks for listening. I hope this was helpful. Again, whoever listens to that and who works with Kundalini in one way or another, this is not a direct attack. I believe we are all in this together, and it's important. It's simply important to bring awareness. It's about pointing fingers. It's about bringing awareness, and especially the ones who've been in this field, who work in this field, even more so important that we share what we are observing, and yeah, to bring this wisdom out as well. All right, then thanks for watching or for listening, and yeah, I wish you a beautiful day ahead. And as always, if you have any questions, any comments, anything you would like to share, anything you would like to ask, yeah, comment here below, or send me a message, and yeah, I'd be happy to